Hello my yarny friends, I'm Sara Sach. Welcome back to my crochet channel. Now today we're going to do the Juicy Summer Beach Bag or Drawstring bag or whatever you want to do with the bag. We decided to make a juicy bag to go with our Juicy Summer Bucket hat. It's very similar in the stitches, as you can see. And we just love the way it turned out. Now I did add some extra green in just for fun. And you could easily add a green flower or maybe add some beads like we did from the ties onto your juicy hat as well. Now if you want the pattern for the juicy hat, I'll put that link underneath this video so that you can find that, okay? Now this is made with cotton. This is Premier Home Cotton. It is a cotton blend and it works perfect for this project. Now this bag measures about 11 inches long and it's about 18 inches around. So it's the perfect size for your summer vacation. Whether you're going to the beach, to the market, to the pool, or to your backyard. It's great to have because it's the perfect size to maybe add your sunglasses, your lotion, your phone, your wallet, and just have just a few things with you that you need, but not a whole big bag of things. All right, and I think you're really going to enjoy making it. It's a lot of fun, and it's easy, and it matches perfectly with our Juicy Summer Bucket hat. All right, now, I really love this style because we start with a granny square in order to make the bottom flat. That way you can put things in there and they're not going to fall over like, say, a water bottle. All right, and then we move on to our second color and just make the top going around over and over, repeating the same pattern till we get to the top. And then we add these fun beads just for fun. And you can use any kind of beads that you want. I actually had not intended on using this one, but I realized I wanted one more yellow bead on this side, and I went to get another of these flowers, and I saw this, and I thought, I've got to add that fun face to my beads on my bag. All right, now, you can find this pattern on my blog with lots of pictures, and I'll put that blog link, as always, down in the notes underneath this video. All right, so we want to match our juicy bag to our juicy hat. So I'm going to be using the same colors as I showed you at the beginning of the video. Now I'm going to be using the same color. It's called Citrus for the body of the bag, but the bottom and the top portion and the drawstring will be using this lime green. All right, so you're going to need about 2.5 of your color 1 ounces, that is 2.5 ounces, and then you're going to need 2 skeins or about 3.5 ounces of your variegated. Now remember, I'm doing mine in 2 colors. You don't have to. You can do it all in 1 color, or you can mix and match and change it as many times as you want to. Colors are up to you and what colors you really like. Now you'll notice I have some beads here. Oh, these are medium weight number 4 cottons, by the way. Alrighty, so I have some beads here. I have 9 beads. I have 3 yellow little flowers. I have 3 green ones that are kind of pearly and 3 bright orange ones. I thought they would match good with the colors. And we're going to be putting those on the drawstring for the bag. Alright. Now you're going to need an eye hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. And then you'll need a needle and a pair of scissors. And one thing that's very important in picking your beads, because you can use any beads that you want to, you need to make sure you can thread your yarn on and get your needle through your bead. Because you can use smaller beads or bigger beads, wooden beads, glass beads, whatever kind of beads you want to add to your drawstring ties. Just remember, it has to go through your needle when it is threaded with your yarn. All right? If you pick one that has too small a hole, it may not work. So I'm starting with my color 1, which is my lime green. And the bottom of the bag really is started as a small granny square. All right, so we're going to start with our slip knot. We're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll join this into a circle with our slip knot and stay knot. Now, if you have another method you prefer to use for the center, you certainly can. So we're going to go in, pull up a loop, and chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to stitch 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and remember, I'm stitching over my tail of yarn. That way I can close up that hole when I'm done. All right, we're going to chain 1, and now we're going to stitch 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and chain 1. Now our chain 3 here counted as our first double crochet. Then we did 2 double crochets, chain 1. Now we stitched 3 double crochets, chain 1, and we're going to do this 2 more times so that we have 4 sets of 3 double crochets, chain 1. One, 2, and 3 double crochets, chain 1. We're going to join to that chain 3 with a slip stitch. Now we're going to slip stitch in the next 2 double crochets, slip stitch in the chain 1 space, and chain 1, 2, and 3. All right, so we're going to turn this over. We're going to gently pull on that tail of yarn. I'm going to grab my needle. I'm going to close up that hole and weave in my end. If you want to do this at the end of your project, you certainly can. Alrighty, so I'm going to weave in this end, making sure everything is secure because we don't want a hole in the bottom of our bag. Just going back and forth. Alrighty, and we'll just cut that. And so row 1 is complete. We have 4 sets of 3 double crochets, chain 1, we slip stitched to the chain 3, and then in each of the next 2 double crochets, slip stitched in the chain 1 space, and chained 3. Now we're ready for row 2. Our chain 3 again counts as 1 double crochet, so in that chain 1 space we're going to stitch 2 more double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now in the past, when I have done a granny square, I usually stitched a chain 2 here and a chain 2 here. But for this bag, we're only going to be using a chain 1. All right? So we chain 1, now we're going to go to the next chain 1 space and stitch 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and chain 1. All right? So it is the same as a granny square. The only difference is we are only chaining 1 in between and 1 in each of our corners. All right, so I chained 1. We'll go to the next chain 1 space and repeat this. 3 double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and then the last chain 1 space we stitch 3 double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. 1, Oops. There we go. 2 and 3. Chain 1. Again, we're going to join to our chain 3. We're going to slip stitch in the next 2. Oops, get in there. Double crochets. Then slip stitch in the chain 1 space and chain 3. All right, so we have 4 sets of 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1. And see, it is a granny square. Like I said, the only difference is we're using chain 1s where we normally do a chain 2. Now we're ready to do row 3. So the corners are the same. The chain 3 counts as our first. Double crochet, and then we're going to double crochet 2 more times. Chain 1 and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to chain 1, go to the chain 1 space and stitch 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3, and chain 1. Now we'll go to the next chain 1 space of the next corner and stitch our 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3, chain 1 and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3, chain 1, 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space. 1, oops, 2, 3, and chain 1. All right, and so this is what we're going to do. 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochets in the corner, chain 1, 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space, chain 1, and then we'll repeat this on these last 2 sides of our granny square. I have completed those last 2 sides. There's my chain 1. I'm going to join to the chain 3 with the slip stitch in the next 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. There we go. Now I'm going to slip stitch in the chain 1 space and chain 3. All right, so now for row 4, we're just going to repeat what we did. The only difference is we're going to have 2 chain 1 spaces in between each of our corners. All right, so we're going to stitch 2 more double crochets. Oops. There we go. Chain 1 and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, more yarn here, and 3. Chain 1, then we go to the next chain 1 space and stitch 3 double crochets. Whoops. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 and 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space. All right, and chain and chain 1. I'm trying to go too fast. I need to slow down just a little bit. All right, so now we're in the next chain 1 space, and that's a corner, so we're going to stitch 3 double crochets. There's 3, chain 1, and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. All right, now we'll chain 1 and stitch 3 double crochets, chain 1 in these 2 chain 1 spaces. Like I said, this beginning portion is just like stitching a granny square. And I wanted to do this for this design because I wanted a nice flat bottom for my bag. That way I can fit even square things like a box in the bottom of my bag. Or maybe a book to take to the beach. Alrighty, so now I'm to the corner and I'm going to stitch those 3 double crochets, chain 1 and 3 double crochets. 1. I keep sliding that out of there, don't I? 2 and 3. All right, and chain 1. And so we're just going to repeat this on these last 2 sides and join back to our chain 3. So I have completed row 4. We have our 4 corners with 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, and then our sides, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1. Now, row 5 is done just a little bit different than row 4. We are going to join to our chain 3 with the slip stitch, but now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Because we're going to be stitching the 4 corners a little bit different. Alright, so our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. We're going to double crochet in the next 2 double crochets. 1 and, whoops, 2. We're going to skip the chain 1 space and go right to these 3 double crochets and stitch 1 in each. 1, 2, 3. All right, so we skip that chain 1. So what we're doing now is we're going to start forming the sides of our bag. All right, so now we're going to chain 1. We're going to go to these 3 double crochets and stitch 1 in each. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1. And so instead of stitching in the chain 1 spaces, we're stitching our 3 double crochets in the 3 double crochets. And there we go. And chain 1. See how we did that? We have 6 double crochets here. We chained 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1. So we're stitching in the double crochets, not the chain 3 spaces from here on out. All right, so now this brings us to our next corner. So we'll stitch a double crochet in the 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Skip the chain 1 space and go right to those next 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And you will notice, you can see how mine's starting to curve in a little bit. This is actually the outside. And it will start to curve in. Chain 1, 1 double crochet in the next 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1, 1 double crochet in the next 3 double crochets. And chain 1, and see how that looks? And it pulls in that corner, and you'll see that when we get back around here, how it's going to pull in the corner. And so we'll repeat what we did here on these last 2 sides and join back to our chain 3. So chain 1, 1 double crochet in 6 double crochets, skipping that chain 1 in between. All right. And you can see how this forms the bottom of our bag. I have completed row 5, and you can see how the corners curl up. And when we did our last set of 3 double crochets, chain 1, I joined to my chain 3, but I didn't chain 3 because I am changing colors. If you're not changing colors, go ahead and chain 3. but I'm changing colors to this beautiful citrus color. All right, so I'm going to bring in my new color. There we go. And basically for row 6, we're just repeating row 5. We're going to chain 3. We're going to double crochet in these 6 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm like, that didn't count right. And 6. So we have 6 double crochets in the corner, 1 in each of those 6. We're going to chain 1, and we're just going to repeat what we did before. We're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the 3 double crochets, chain 1, and double crochet in those next 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, and that brings us to the corner. And so we'll double crochet in those 6 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, and see how that is already beginning to form the sides of our bag. And I want to show you, let me grab the hat real quick. How this is done is 3 double crochets with more chains in between. That's a chain 2. But the bag we only wanted the chain 1, but the 3 double crochets with the space matches our hat. And of course we're using that same yarn. And again, you don't have to make a matchy if you don't want to. I just really like a matched set. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and repeat what we did over here, around here, and join back to our chain 3. I have now completed row 6, and it was stitched exactly the same as row 5, only I used a different color. All right, so I chained 1. I'm going to join to my chain 3 with the slip stitch and chain 3 because I'm not changing colors. So you can change colors as often as you want to. Just remember, if you're going to change colors, do your chain 3 after your color change, or you'll have one stitch that's the color of the previous row. All right, I do need to weave those ends in, but what we're going to do next is we're going to repeat row 6. You'll stitch it exactly the same, the 6 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1, and repeat all the way around. So you're repeating row 6. I have repeated row 6, and that brings us up to row 19. Isn't this pretty? I love how it turned out. I love that the bottom of the bag is flat, like the square. All right, so now what we're going to do is I joined to my chain 3, but I didn't chain 3 because I'm going to cut my yarn. And I'm going to bring in my green back in for the top of my bag. Again, you don't have to if you don't want to. All right, now what we're going to do for the top of the bag, let me pull that string out so I have a little bit of something to weave in there. We're going to chain 3 because remember I did a color change, so I want to make sure that my chain 3 is the color of this row. I'm going to chain 3, and now we're going to double crochet in these first 6 double crochets. So our chain 3 counts as the first, And so 1, 2, 3. There we go. A little bit snug on that one. My string keeps trying to get in the way. There we go. 5 and 6 double crochets. All right, so we have 6 double crochets. That brings us to our chain 1 space, and we're going to double crochet in the chain 1 space. All right, and so what we're going to do for this row is we're going to double crochet in each of the double crochets, and then double crochet 1 time in each of the chain 1 spaces. And this is going to give us a solid row of double crochet. So 1 double crochet in those 3, 1 double crochet in the chain 1 space, and repeat. 1, 2, 3, 1 double crochet in the chain 1 space, and that brings us to our next 6. So we'll stitch 1 double crochet in each of those 6 double crochets. Alrighty, and then 1 double crochet in the chain 1 space, and we'll just repeat this all the way around so we have a solid row of double crochets. So I have completed row 20. We did double crochets in each of the double crochets and 1 double crochet in each of the chain 1 spaces. That gives us a nice solid row of double crochets. Now don't forget to join to your chain 3 and chain 3, and that counts as your first double crochet. And then we're just going to stitch 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets around, and we're going to do this for 2 more rows. And this will give us 3 rows of nice solid double crochets. So I completed those 2 more rows of double crochet. So I have 3 nice rows of double crochet at the top of my bag. All right, I cut my yarn, and I'm going to bring back in my pretty variegated just to top off the top of my bag. There we go. Let me snug that down. And all we're going to do on this last row is just a row of single crochet. All right, so we'll just go in that first stitch and stitch 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets all the way around. Now on this row, I really recommend that you tighten up your tension just a little bit, and that'll help the bag hold its shape just a little bit at the top. All right, so we're stitching 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets around. And remember, I changed colors, but you don't have to. You can continue on with your green or whatever color that you're using, and remember, this makes a great scrap happy project. You could just get in your cotton and make you a nice cotton bag and use your leftover cottons that you have on hand. Just make sure they're medium weight, number 4 cottons or cotton blends. All right, so 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets around. So I stitched that row of single crochet all the way around the top of my bag. I'm going to join to my first single crochet with a slip stitch and cut my yarn. Oops. All right, let's go in that next loop and pull that loop to the back so we have a nice finish on the front of our bag. And yes, we have a few things to weave in. There we go. I've got to weave in here, I've got to weave in here, and then I'm going to show you how to make our drawstring. But isn't that just gorgeous? All this color. Talk about adding some cheerfulness to your vacation. So my bag is all tidied up, and now I'm ready to make my drawstrings. So we're going to use 2 strands of yarn, and I'm going to use one of each of my colors. One of my variegated and one of my green. All right. And I want you to start with about a 10-inch tail, because this is where we're going to add those beads onto our drawstring. So we're going to hold our 2 strands together, make our slip knot, and we're going to chain 80 chains. Now, if you want your drawstring to be longer, you can chain more. But I'm going to chain 80 chains. And I'm still using my eye hook. If it's a little difficult for you, you can go up a hook size to the J, which is a 6 millimeter, if you want to. But I'm just going to go ahead and use my eye hook, which is a 5.5. And I like how these two look good together. All right, so I'm going to chain 80 chains. I have chained 80 chains, or maybe a few more. I lost count. The phone rang and I lost count, okay? So you want to have about 80 or more or less chains. We're going to have a long tail because we want to make sure we can put those beads on the end, and we'll go ahead and tie that off. All right, and then we're going to make a knot right in the end of it, and then we'll come back to where we started and make a knot in the beginning. This is just keeping our chain from coming undone. All right, now before we put our beads on, oh, I don't like where that knot is. Let me do another one. I want it to be right up on the chain. I don't want that noticeable. Much better. So now, before we put our beads on, we're going to put the drawstring on. And what I recommend is that you decide where you want the front of your bag to be. And that's where we're going to start. And we'll do it around the back. And we're going to be doing it on the middle row of our top, where we put the 3 double crochets. We're going to be in that middle row. All right. So the way that I do this is I do my crochet hook backwards. All right, so this is my center right here, and so I'm going to go in and out every 2 stitches going in that middle row. All right, and I'll do a few and I'll grab it and pull it through. All right. And we'll just keep doing that every 2 stitches. And if you have a crochet hook that is a little bit too bulky for this, you can't get it through, maybe it's one of those bigger ones, just grab you one of your inexpensive ones to do it this way. It makes it so much easier just to pull it from behind like this. I mean, it really does. Isn't that cool? Okay, and we'll just keep doing this till we get back around to the front of our bag. It's every 2 double crochets going in and out. And see how easy that is? So now I have the drawstring in. I went in every 2 in and out. And we're not going to tie it up here. What we're going to do is we're going to put these 2 ends together and we're going to tie it to add our beads. Okay, so we're just going to flip that over. Make sure we get all 4 of those strands of yarn and push that knot all the way up. And you may have to loosen it like I did because we want that to be right up on the end. There we go. Nice, snug, and tight. All right. And then we're going to add the beads to the bottom. Now, we're not going to put them way down here. I just wanted to make sure I had enough room to add my beads. And I don't know exactly how. I have 4, and I've got, let's see, 9 beads. So some of them will have more than others. All right. So you want to take one of your needles, a needle. And if you fan out the end of it a little bit, it makes it just a little bit easier to put that on there. There we go. Shove it up in there. Okay, I missed one. It's still in there. Let's grab it. Okay, this is the hardest part of this project, is threading the cotton on the needle. All right, so I'm just going to take a couple of beads. So I'll take, let's see, a green one and a yellow one. We'll just take two. All right, and I'm going to push them up to about right here. All right, and I'm going to let those two sit, and then I'm going to grab one of my variegated ones. Same thing, fan it out. Lay it flat across your needle, push it flat, and ease it in. All right, so now I want to grab an orange one and a green one. I can't decide, so I'm going to go ahead and add a yellow one too. But I'm going to do it different. I'm going to put the yellow on, then the orange, then the green. Okay, and then I can use those four for my last two. All right, so I'm going to push these two up. Okay, and what you want to do is with the two of them, you're going to just do that flip over knot. Just like that. And I do it twice when it's on the end, just in case that first one comes out. We want to make sure they're nice and secure. And then grab the scissors and just cut that. There we go. I was having a little trouble deciding how I want my beads, but I really like that. Okay, and so now I'm going to do another one with these two. So I threaded all of my beads on, and I found this silly smile one, and it was yellow, so I couldn't resist adding it. I just happened to look over in my bead box and saw it. All right, so we want to try to make it about the same size, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, so I'm going to make my knot. And again, any beads will work. You can use wooden beads, glass beads, polymer clay beads, or plastic beads, whatever you want to use. All right, and then we'll go ahead and give that a clip. All right, and so now my bag has some fun and silly beads. Isn't that cute? All right, now you're going to ask me, how are we supposed to use this bag if you've got the ends tied, right? Well, that's because what I like to do with them is take the two sides like this and like this. Pull that up just like that. The beads are hanging right here, and I've got two handles to carry my bag. Isn't that cute? Now you can pull it to one side and have a long handle if you want to. It's totally up to you. I love the beads. They're just gorgeous, and they work perfect with this fun bag. And now I'm thinking I might need to add some beads to my hat.